the famous Tottenham Hotspur. I don't like this topic. I don't think I'm going to enjoy this video, but helping me explore quite who Tottenham Hotspur are under Ange Postecoglou is the wonderful Ade Oladipo. The link to Ade's YouTube channel is in the description below, so please make sure that you check it out. I believe that you have just hit 50,000 subscribers.
Mate, can I give you a handshake? Because
congratulations,
my
friend.
It's
a huge...
It feels amazing. No plaque or anything. Obviously, YouTube don't do that, but it feels good.
No, you got a seal of approval, though.
Yeah,
you get the seal of approval.
That's it, yeah.
Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to Ade as well. Obviously, I really appreciate that. He's a dear friend of mine. We're now going to talk about Tottenham, the Ange Postecoglou revolution, the fact that Tottenham had a lap of honour after beating Manchester United in the first home game of the season. Felt very weird to me. However, a lot of my mates are Tottenham fans. They drive me mad. And I don't know if I've seen them this happy.
Who asked them to do that?
For a long time.
Is that Postecoglou that asked them to do that, go around?
I think it was organic, I think it just happened. I think the fans were so euphoric. Like my mate who was there. You know Flav? You met Flav?
Yeah, I know Flav, yeah.
Flav was telling me, I was with him during the game. He was telling me that he hasn't really known vibrancy like it.
They all do that, don't they?
Yeah.
They always say that, don't they?
They do.
Every time a new manager comes in, gets a result.
But do you know what I would say? When I watched the game on Match of the Day, the noise in the ground felt unlike anything I've seen them do.
Man United do that to you. I think
Man United, first day of the season, new manager, victory.
That. Every team playing Manchester United, and that's why they are one of the biggest clubs in the world, and I hate to admit it, but when Man United come to your home ground, you know it's special.
Matters. Well, it means
something different.
Also, do you know what? Well, we're going off topic here, but this is very important. Away fans are the lifeblood of football.
Yeah.
Away fans, if you think that home football stadiums are overly sanitised and sterile, the reason is because away fans aren't given enough love. If the away fans make a racket, the home fans will always make a racket.
Yeah, because they've got to outdo them.
Exactly. And Manchester United will always make a racket as away fans.
Agreed.
Which makes the atmosphere even better.
100%. And look, it's a fantastic stadium as well. And I'm with you. I think it was organic. I think I saw a few of the players clap, and then that crowd on that side's clapping. Well, obviously we've got to walk around there and clap to them. And they're clapping.
Yeah.
So they've almost walked around because everyone's cheering them around. Yes, they've got to.
But look, a lot of the players, I don't think a lap of honour in those circumstances is necessarily right. But I also think that the players, a lot of them, shone and therefore deserved their moment in the sun.
Yeah, and look, if you're a Spurs fan, it's been the worst 3 weeks of your life, depending on your age, because obviously you've lost your golden boy, your golden child, right?
Yeah.
So you're down, and now you're there because you beat Man. I can understand why you're feeling euphoric. You mentioned Flav feeling like it's the best thing since sliced bread. I can understand why he feels like that, because it's been so bad for Spurs in the last few months, maybe few years, because of all the managerial changes.
Yeah. And yet they got a team that are playing like that. Like, you know, if you were to highlight 3 players, Maddison, Basuma, Romero.
It's interesting that you said that, because I was going to say Maddison, Basuma, Sarr.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're going another one different shows that means they've got more than one.
Do you know what? You could say Pedro Porro.
Yeah.
Like if we were doing this, in fact, you could probably say everybody bar Richarlison.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to talking about him.
Yeah, so that's probably, that could do a video on its own.
I'm looking forward to talking about him.
That could do a video on its own. But look, I also feel like the element of expectation at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium isn't what it was a few years ago. Like a few years ago when Conte came in, a couple of seasons ago, so when Conte came in, they've obviously got that front three of Kulusevski, Son, Kane, Richarlison comes in back in last season. Everyone's excited thinking they're going to go on something. Expectations lower now under Ange Postecoglou. So I think the pressure's off a little bit as well. And when pressure's off, we've seen it with players, they play better football. You're a bit more relaxed. And I think everyone now just feels like, okay, the pressure isn't what it was last season under Conte, who screams on the touchline from minute 1.
And he made it a hateful place, Conte. Like it was so weird, wasn't it? Like Antonio Conte, if you were a Tottenham fan, you'd be thinking about Antonio Conte. He's earning a fortune, living in London, working at Tottenham, an iconic football club, amazing stadium, great training facilities. And if you're a Tottenham fan, you'd be going, why does this geezer hate us?
Yeah.
Like, why does he hate us so much? Because he did. He clearly did. He didn't want to be there.
Didn't like it.
Didn't like them.
Yeah, didn't like it. Didn't like them. You are correct. And it's a strange one. Look, Maddison's been fantastic, as I said he would be. I've always said...
No, you've rated Maddison from day dot, haven't you?
From day dot. And I think once me and you were doing our transfer show on TalkSport, I did say, I think, signing of the season. Just because he has to come in and he has to land immediately. Like, I feel like Mason Mount going to United might get time because he's surrounded with other good players who might take the mantle. He could come off the bench. Maddison has to come in and land. Hence why, look, he's vice captain. It's like you have to do it immediately for us already. You have to do it, and he's done it. He's done it. The only problem is he's trying to supply, I think, the worst number 9 right now in the Premier League.
This
who
is the
can't
problem.
hit a barn door.
No, this is the problem because he does nothing. Like he does nothing. He's totally inconsequential in a football match, isn't he? I can't believe it.
You know how bad it is? I think me and you were talking about Mopé the other day for Everton, and I said at least he runs around. Yeah. Mopé doesn't score. Mopé hasn't scored in 28, I think, for Everton.
Yeah.
Awful. As bad as Richarlison. But Everton fans would say, yeah, he puts himself about a bit, though. Richarlison seems to do nothing.
He does nothing.
So if you don't score, what do you do?
It makes life so hard for his teammates as well.
Starts doing that with his hands.
Yeah, because also, if you think about Basuma and his bravery and Maddison and the way that he was driving the cavalry forward, and I thought Kulusevski was a constant thorn in the side. Yeah. Sarr, as you flagged. Romero, just sensational. When you've got like your centre forward, one of the more recognisable names. Like if you were to say sort of the standout marquee players at Tottenham, I think Richarlison, Brazil's number 9.
Number 1.
Yeah, he's definitely...
Him and Son.
Son, Maddison.
Yeah.
It's
Brazil's number 9.
And they've got a keeper, that Vicario, right? Yeah. Richarlison is like so much more recognisable than him. He's much more... Yeah. You'd expect so much more from him. Yeah. And yet you're just getting nothing.
And if you're him as well, you're thinking, all right, this is my chance. Harry Kane has gone.
I know.
Now, Daniel Levy isn't going to spend that 100 million on a striker. He's just not going to do it.
No.
So here you go, Richarlison, here's your chance. You were moaning because you used to come on the left, on the right. You weren't getting your place through the middle. We saw you for Brazil. You shone. Here's your chance now. Take it. Do it. Do what you can. And I know it's only a couple of games in, but he doesn't convince me at all.
No, nor me. Nor me. But him aside, what do you think of Tottenham this year? What do you think of Tottenham?
Solid. I'm not going to go beyond that. I'm not having this. If you're going to talk to me about a top 4 spot or anything like that, top 5, I'm not entertaining that. No.
6.
I don't. Brighton, Villa. There's a few in and around that. I don't know where Liverpool.
Because also, it's all very well to be, waxing lyrical about Tottenham beating Manchester United. If Marcus Rashford and he couldn't ask for a better chance from the Rabona.
Yeah, from the Rabona. And Bruno had his own chance as well.
Yeah.
I mean. Man United should have been outside in the first half. The first 35 minutes, they could have been 2 or 3 up. But look, it's a big win. It will give them a lot of hope for the season. Brentford is a good point, especially when they were 2-1 down to score in that game, was to get a point out of that game. 4 points from the first 2 games.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
good
solid.
Return.
It's solid.
And what do you think? If you're Harry Kane here, do you think Harry Kane is looking at this wistfully, thinking that he would love to link up with Maddison? No. He's scoring goals for Bayern Munich.
He's okay. He's okay. I mean, he's had this before where you just stay and we'll get that player and we'll get this player. He's done that before. I think for him, he's probably looked around and think, okay, Son looks like he's run his race. Yeah. Unfortunately, Richarlison's awful. And Kulusevski could be hit and miss. And I get it, Maddison's coming in, but it's just not enough.
Yeah.
And he looked at the defence as well and it's like, that's not enough. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's just, he's not got another rebuild project in him. And it is a project.
Yeah. See, this is weird because I have far more antipathy towards Tottenham Hotspur than you, and yet I can see them finishing higher than you.
Higher than who?
Higher than you think.
I thought you meant
higher than you think they'll finish. But I can also see them finishing lower. Generally when we talk about football clubs, I know exactly what I think. Yeah. So I think that Arsenal will win the league. Yeah. Could be wrong, but I know that. I know that I think Manchester City will be brilliant, finish second, and I think they'll win the European Cup.
Yeah.
So I know. Do you know with this Tottenham team, I honestly don't know. Part of me sometimes thinks, gosh, if they get this right, 5th could be there for them. And then I think if they don't get this right...
10th.
Well, I think, 12th,
yeah,
11th.
There's not enough goals in there. And people might say, one second, Maddison scored double-digit goals for Leicester. I get that. But I can only go off what they did last season. I can only go off that. Son,
someone needs to replace those 30 goals.
Exactly.
And who's doing that?
Who's doing that? And Richarlison got 1 goal last season in the league.
Which is
I think Son got 4. And I think out of those 4, 1 game was a hat-trick.
Hat-trick against Leicester, wasn't it?
I can only go on that. So up front, you've got 2 guys that have got 5 goals in them last season. But
Postecoglou, you impressed so far?
Yeah, I am. I like the way he speaks. He's confident, right? I mean, it's obviously a completely different job coming from Celtic to the Premier League, completely different. But let's see what he can do. Again, there isn't that expectation there was when there was Mourinho. He's going to win a trophy. And Conte, you told me he was going to win a trophy. No one's saying that about Postecoglou. So he's gone under the radar a little bit. No stress.
He's got a year
He's
before
got
anyone.
maybe a bit more.
I think it depends what happens.
Yeah.
Depends what happens.
Yeah.
You know, they'll get annoyed as well. You know, if they end up really struggling, because what could happen is, and this happened to them when they were trying, when our dealers was their manager, and they were trying to really embrace the traditions of the club, and they were playing with 5 attackers.
Yeah.
Dumitrescu, Popescu, Barnby, Klinsmann, Anderton, all 5. And they were conceding goals for fun. And then even the Tottenham fans who love the tradition and obviously revere our dealers, lionise him, he's one of their greats, even they were like, mate, everyone's scoring against us, man.
I feel like they might revert back to the Spurs that I remember of 10 years ago under Redknapp. And it was just
4-3 games.
Yeah, just a team that tough going to Spurs, isn't it? I remember when my friend used to play there. I used to go and watch all the time. Tough going Spurs, but they win one, they lose one. Yeah. 8th, 9th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to the Spurs that Spurs fans have been used to for the last 4 years of getting top 4.
But dry.
Yeah.
Top 4 but dry, rather than like
rather
really
than exciting football,
but
crazy,
8th.
but 8th might be that.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting. Fair play to Tottenham. They're looking good. And James Maddison,
quality.
Baller.
Quality.
That's how you use it. You know, that's the definition.
He's that. He's,
he
you know,
is
like
that.
Him and Grealish. You know that kind
Baller.
of players. Ballers.
Baller.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. As always, really appreciate your support. Please do us a favour in the comment section below. Let us know exactly what you think of the points raised on this video. We will both be in the comments to see what you have to say. And before you go, in the description is Adeola Depot's YouTube link. Make sure that you click subscribe over there. In a bit, yo.